The golden boy I'd once secretly loved had gone bankrupt. A friend told me that last night, he'd gone up to the rooftop and almost jumped. I hesitated for a long time before finally sending him a message. Do you need money? I had a little money now. Liam Wilson replied almost immediately. Where are you right now? I sent him my address. Later, Liam Wilson showed up at my front door and asked gently, I don't have anywhere to go anymore. Could you take me in? Welcome to Hehestory channel. Subscribe to follow all our latest adventures. Story begins. Kiki had gotten herself a boyfriend recently, and apparently, one of her favorite hobbies now was sharing gossip with me. Harper, did you hear? You know that rich heir who went viral a few years ago because he was ridiculously handsome? Apparently, he almost jumped off a building last night after going bankrupt. He was already standing on the rooftop. Nobody knows why, but he came back down in the end. I had never been particularly interested in gossip, so I just gave a couple of absent-minded hums. Harper, Liam Wilson is seriously gorgeous. The man can practically make a suicide attempt look cinematic. Don't believe me? I've got a picture some helpful bystander took last night. The moment I heard the name Liam Wilson, my hand froze. Kiki was already digging through the photos saved on her phone. When she finally found the one she wanted, she shoved the screen in front of my face. Look, tell me he isn't hot. The man in the photo was wearing a brown trench coat. The wind had lifted the hem of his coat and blown his hair into complete disarray. Yet somehow, he didn't look disheveled at all. Instead, there was something heartbreakingly beautiful about him. I held my breath. My heartbeat, however, sped up completely beyond my control. It really was Liam Wilson. When Kiki first mentioned the name, I thought it was just someone else with the same name. Kiki noticed me staring blankly at her phone. You know Liam Wilson? I snapped back to reality. We were classmates for a while, but we lost touch after graduation. After thinking about it, I added, from what I remember, he wasn't the kind of person who would try to kill himself just because he ran into trouble. Could there be some misunderstanding? Maybe he was just on the rooftop getting some air last night. Maybe he wasn't actually planning to jump. If bankruptcy were the only thing that happened, then yeah, I don't think he would have tried to kill himself over that either. Kiki sighed. But my boyfriend told me that Liam had some kind of falling out with his family not long ago. And apparently his fiancée dumped him and ran off with someone else. Maybe the company going bankrupt was just the last straw. So that was what had happened. A strange sense of melancholy settled over me. Not long ago, I had seen news online about Liam Wilson entering into an engagement with the daughter of some automobile tycoon. They had looked genuinely perfect standing together. People online had called them a golden couple, a powerful alliance between two equally prestigious families. I had sincerely wished them happiness from the bottom of my heart. I never expected things to end like this. That evening, after I got home, I hesitated for a long time. Eventually, I dug out an old phone I no longer used and found Liam Wilson's contact information. I sent him a message. Do you need money right now? I had a little money these days. It probably wouldn't solve any major problems, but at least it might help him through an emergency. I didn't even know whether he still used this number. Maybe he wouldn't receive the message at all. I stared at my phone for several seconds. Then I suddenly wondered if what I had written sounded rude. Almost condescending. Like I was offering charity from some position above him. I was just about to unsend it when Liam Wilson replied. Harper Davis. He still remembered me? Me. Yes. We chatted for a while. I tried, as tactfully as I could, to persuade him not to do anything reckless. Life was precious. Money could always be earned again. But once a person was gone, there was no way to undo it. I had never been good with words. I was afraid I might not be expressing myself properly, so I cautiously asked, do you understand what I mean? The chat window showed typing, for a long time before his reply finally appeared. Of course I understand. Harper, I'm really happy you reached out to comfort me. Me, that's good. I was just about to tell him to get some rest. When you were feeling bad, sleeping more was usually a good thing. But Liam's next message arrived first. I'm feeling a lot better now, but I still want to talk to you a little longer. Talking to you really makes me happy. Could you comfort me some more? Me. Okay. Even though Liam Wilson had asked me to comfort him, he was the one constantly coming up with new topics. Suddenly, I realized that after all these years, I still hadn't improved at all when it came to talking to people. At around 10:30, Liam messaged, It's getting late. Are you going to sleep soon? Me. Yeah. You should get some rest too. Liam Wilson. After talking to you tonight, I'm definitely going to sleep well. Harper, thank you. But really, I hadn't done anything. He probably just had a naturally resilient mindset. You don't have to thank me. I'm just glad you're feeling better. Liam Wilson. Better? I'm way more than better. I'm full of motivation now. Judging by the way he was chatting, I didn't think he had any thoughts of suicide anymore. Kiki had probably exaggerated things. Liam Wilson definitely hadn't been planning a jump last night. Everyone must have misunderstood. I let out a breath of relief. I wished him good night. Then he asked me, by the way, Harper, would you mind telling me where you live now? I want to treat you to a meal sometime when you're free, to thank you for comforting me and helping me today. After a little thought, I gave him the name of my apartment complex. The next morning, I went grocery shopping at a supermarket near my neighborhood. On my way back, I came across someone who had somehow ridden a tiny electric scooter directly into a landscaped flower bed and wiped out spectacularly. I watched for about 2 seconds before deciding I should call the police or an ambulance for him. Then the man heroically dragged himself back to his feet on his own. The moment I saw his face, I froze. Liam Wilson? He froze too. Looking deeply unwilling to admit what an idiotic thing he had just done, he immediately defended himself. It was the scooter. Something's wrong with it. Me. I brought him back to my place. Liam followed obediently behind me like a child had just gotten caught doing something wrong. I cleaned and treated the scrape on his knee, then ordered takeout, and we ate lunch together. Afterward, I volunteered. Where do you live? I'll take you home. I was worried that if he rode that little scooter back, he might crash again. Liam Wilson went still. A moment later, his eyes reddened. I immediately had no idea what to do. He was bankrupt now. Maybe his houses and other properties had all been mortgaged away. In that case, he really was a poor homeless man now. Why did I have to mention going home? Sure enough, Liam Wilson said quietly, I don't have a home anymore. His eyes were red, and his lashes trembled slightly. Somehow, he looked even more handsome. Suddenly, I remembered something my mother had once suggested. Baby, Mommy knows you're not interested in dating, but you can't stay alone forever either. How about I introduce you to a few clean, nice young men? You can choose one you like, keep him around to take care of you, and give him a little spending money every month. That way, you don't have to invest emotionally, and Mommy won't have to worry about you being lonely. At the time, I had rejected her suggestion without hesitation. How is that any different from some greasy old man keeping a young girl as his mistress? Besides, I normally liked being alone. I didn't like strangers intruding into my private space. But if the person I was keeping happened to be Liam Wilson, I might actually be able to accept it. The second I realized what I was thinking, I almost slapped myself. Harper Davis, what the hell are you thinking? If Liam Wilson knew about those filthy thoughts in my head, he might actually go jump off a building. He had once been such a bright, untouchable person. Even if he was down on his luck now, there was no way he would ever allow anyone to humiliate him like that. I was just about to transfer some money to him when my mother called. Before I could even say anything, she started talking. Baby, you wouldn't let Mommy find you a young man to keep last time, but I recently made a new friend, and her son is very handsome. Do you want to meet him? Liam Wilson stared at me in astonishment. Me? I hurriedly told my mother. No. Then I hung up. I was just about to explain to Liam that my mother had been talking nonsense. I wasn't that kind of person. But then Liam Wilson spoke. Harper, I really don't have anywhere to go anymore. Could you take me in? Huh. My brain stopped functioning for a second. Liam pressed his lips together. I can do housework. I'm also a pretty good cook, and I don't eat very much. Keeping me shouldn't cost you much. And you already know me pretty well. I'm definitely better than some random young guy you don't know. I fell into deep thought. Was Liam Wilson asking me to keep him? Sure. I agreed almost without hesitation. This was the guy I had worshipped throughout my school years. How could I possibly stand by and do nothing when he was struggling? He was clearly at the lowest point of his career. He had to be feeling terrible. I could let him stay at my place for a while. Once he had pulled himself together emotionally, he could start over. Overall, living with Liam Wilson was extremely pleasant. Just as he'd claimed, he could do housework, and he was also an excellent cook. Ever since he moved into my place, my quality of life had improved dramatically. Every morning, I woke up to breakfast prepared for me by an outrageously handsome man with long legs. Every evening when I came home from work, Yesterday's dirty laundry had already been washed and hung up. The house was spotless, and hot food was waiting for me. What a beautiful life. After living like this for long enough, I occasionally started getting the bizarre illusion that Liam and I had already been married for years. Every night in my dreams, I tormented Liam Wilson until he was half dead. In reality, I was an absolute coward. One time, Liam forgot to bring clothes into the bathroom and asked me to help him. Inside my head, I staged an entire obscene drama about taking advantage of a vulnerable, virtuous man. In reality, all I dared to do was cover my eyes and peek at him twice through the gaps between my fingers. Another time, the weather was unbearably hot. Liam apparently couldn't bear to waste money running the air conditioner, so he did housework in a thin tank top. I got so overheated looking at him that I nearly had a nosebleed. Yet I still pretended to be completely calm. I stared at my computer as if I were working on a design. In reality, my eyes were practically drilling holes through Liam's entire body. Poor Liam had absolutely no idea. Instead, he thoughtfully carried a small fan over to me and aimed it at my face. "Harper, are you feeling okay? Your face is really red." Liam leaned in close. His gently trembling lashes felt as if they were brushing directly against my heart. My face turned even redder. Flustered, I grabbed my phone, opened one of those borderline thirst trap male live streamers I occasionally watched, and stared desperately at the screen while spouting nonsense. Maybe it's because he's moving his hips too sexily. Definitely not because I suddenly wanted to ravish you. Liam Wilson lowered his gaze. A strained little smile appeared on his lips. "Oh, so this is the kind of guy Harper likes?" "Me, yeah." The next day, Liam Wilson wore an outfit almost identical to the thirst trap streamer's uniform while mopping the living room floor. The fitted uniform made his narrow waist, long legs, and full chest look even more tempting. I nearly spat out my water. My heart pounded wildly. Liam looked concerned. "What's wrong?" I took a deep breath and glanced around awkwardly in a very obvious attempt to hide my reaction. "Nothing. I just choked on my water." Liam Wilson. He seemed disappointed. "You just choked on your water?" I nodded firmly. "Of course." Liam Wilson. He seemed a little unhappy. Well, that made sense. Who would be happy doing housework like a servant all day without getting paid? So I immediately transferred $10,000 to him. Then I thoughtfully comforted him. "If staying home all day makes you unhappy, you can go find a job." "Of course, you don't have to. I can afford to support you." I had genuinely meant it kindly. Somehow, Liam became even more unhappy. Me. That weekend, Kiki invited me out for drinks at a bar. When she found out Liam Wilson was living at my house, she was completely stunned. "Harper, did I hear you correctly?" She patted my cheek. "You're saying Liam Wilson came to you on his own and begged you to take him in?" I nodded. "Yeah." I sighed. He probably really had nowhere else to turn. Kiki shook her head. "Bullshit. I just found out the Wilson family never went bankrupt. There's just a small funding problem with the company Liam founded himself. And the jumping off a building thing was probably exactly what you said. A misunderstanding. Liam Wilson's father is literally the richest man in a city right now, and his mother is a famous dancer. All he has to do is go home and act cute in front of his parents, and they could save that supposedly bankrupt company of his overnight." "What do you mean, he had nowhere else to turn?" "I think he's obviously got ulterior motives toward you." "How could that be?" I took a depressed sip of my drink and immediately defended Liam with complete conviction. "He's not that kind of person. Besides, weren't you the one who told me he had a falling out with his family? He would rather ask an old classmate he hasn't seen in years to take him in than go back to his parents. Obviously, his parents refused to help him. The richer the family, the more complicated things are. Liam is so pitiful." I looked miserable. What can I do to make him genuinely happy again? When I left home today, had been leaning against the window in his room with such a melancholy expression. He probably spent all his time like that whenever I wasn't home. He only pretended everything was fine in front of me because he didn't want me to worry. Sigh. "Kiki. How did I never notice before that you had the potential to become this hopelessly love-struck? Harper, do you want to know how to make Liam happy?" "Of course. Come here." Kiki crooked a finger at me. "I'll teach you." I immediately leaned closer. I wanted to know what brilliant solution she had. Instead, she whispered in my ear, "Go home right now, pin Liam down on the bed, and kiss the hell out of him. I guarantee he'll be ecstatic." Me. I suspected Kiki was messing with me. But horrifyingly, Part of me was tempted. While a full-scale war raged inside my head, Liam Wilson called me. He asked when I was coming home. I was just about to say I'd be back soon when Kiki urgently stopped me. She lowered her voice and whispered in my ear, "Do you want to know whether Liam loves you?" Me? After hesitating, I said, "Yes." Kiki said, "Hang up. Then text him and tell him some guy asked you out tonight, so you're not coming home." Me? Wouldn't that be lying? On the other end of the call, Liam asked softly, "Is it inconvenient for you to talk? Why aren't you saying anything?" I was about to explain when Kiki moved faster than me and ended the call. "What are you doing?" "Do what I told you," Kiki said. "Text him and say you got a date with another guy tonight, so you're not going home. If he loves you, he'll panic. Then he'll finally do something." I was skeptical. Still, I did exactly what Kiki told me. Then I stared at my phone, waiting for Liam to reply. Kiki reached over and turned my screen off. She gave me a look full of disappointment. "Have some dignity. You supposedly have a date, yet you're sitting here desperately waiting for his reply? Won't that expose the whole thing? But what if he texts me and I don't answer? He'll worry." "That's the point. He needs to worry," Kiki said. "That's how you get him to expose himself." She patted my head and sighed. "Poor little thing. You don't even know how to date." Me? "Come on. Tell me about what happened between you two back then. I'll analyze it for you and figure out how to win him over." I hesitated before speaking. Well, back in high school, I transferred into his school halfway through the year. Then we were desk partners for about a year. Kiki nodded. "Baby, you told me that part already. Tell me the actual details of how you two interacted." The truth was, I had been an extremely withdrawn person when I was younger. Liam Wilson was the only friend who never thought I was strange, and was willing to genuinely talk to me. When I was little, I spent most of my childhood moving from place to place with my mother. We could never stay anywhere for very long. As a result, I never had any truly close friends. Whenever we moved somewhere new, before I had even gotten familiar with my classmates, it would already be time to transfer schools again. When I was a child, I once asked Mom why we couldn't simply settle down somewhere. Her eyes turned red. She stroked my cheek and said, "Baby, because Mommy has to make sure the bad man can't find us." I didn't understand who this bad man was. Only when I grew older did I learn that he was my biological father. That man was mentally unstable. He had an extreme need to control my mother. At one point, he even believed that my birth had stolen my mother's love away from him. When I was little, he tried to kill me many times. Once my mother realized what was happening, she insisted on divorcing him. So he imprisoned her. Later, with help from one of Mom's friends, she escaped with me. But he never stopped trying to find her. When you encountered someone like that, there was nothing you could do except hide. So Mom moved constantly with me. That made it harder for him to find us. Every time we arrived in a new city, I would barely have enough time to adjust before we had to leave again. When I transferred to a school in a city during my second year of high school, Mom told me, "Baby, this time you can focus on preparing for college entrance exams. We won't have to move anymore." That man had committed a crime and been sent to prison. He wouldn't be getting out for quite a while. The first friend I made in a city was Liam Wilson. He was handsome. He had a wonderful personality. And he was the first person at my new school to approach me voluntarily. "Hi, new student. I'm Liam Wilson, the class president. If you ever need help with anything, you can come find me." I pressed my lips together and stammered a little. "Hi. I'm Harper Davis." "Harper Davis?" Liam's eyes curved with his smile. "That's a beautiful name. And you're pretty cute too." Back then, I wore thick blunt bangs, and my face was covered in acne. Everyone said I was weird, that I looked gloomy and creepy. Liam Wilson was the first person who ever called me cute. I felt a tiny spark of happiness. Maybe this new school wasn't so bad. Maybe I could finally make a close friend here. Unfortunately, that fantasy didn't last long. The teacher initially assigned me a seat beside the class sports representative. He was tall and muscular, with a cheerful personality. He was very popular in class. I thought we would be able to get along peacefully. But on the very first day, I noticed that he seemed to harbor some inexplicable hostility toward me. At first, I thought I was being overly sensitive, that maybe I was imagining it. Then I overheard him joking behind my back with his friends that I looked like a moldy, poisonous mushroom, and was so ugly that sitting next to me had destroyed his desire to speak. Because he disliked me, the people close to him began excluding me too. Sometimes, when I walked through the hallway, people would whistle at me, point, and whisper. I was devastated. I quietly hid in an empty corner and cried. That was where Liam Wilson found me after returning from a competition. He was carrying a savory pancake he had just bought outside the school. He bent his knees and crouched in front of me. What happened? I lowered my head and cried. I didn't say anything. It was embarrassing enough that I had hidden somewhere to cry. Now someone had caught me doing it. Liam pushed the pancake into my hands. Did you not manage to get lunch? Are you crying because you're hungry? You can have my pancake. So I silently ate an entire pancake. Only afterward did I follow Liam back to the classroom. The next day, the teacher changed my seat. Liam Wilson became my new desk partner. Liam was popular. Everyone knew I was close to him. So after that, nobody targeted me anymore. He was good at math and science. I was good at literature and English. So we often met up to study together on weekends. We compensated for each other's weaknesses. From the second semester of our sophomore year until nearly the end of senior year, we remained desk partners. We even promised each other we would attend the same university. Liam Wilson told me that after graduation, he had a very important secret to tell me. I secretly looked forward to it. Could his secret be the same as mine? Could it be that he liked me too? That evening, I came home. The entire house was dark. I turned on the lights. Mom was sitting on the living room couch, her face covered in tears. My diary was lying in front of her. Inside it were all the feelings I had written about my secret crush on Liam Wilson. Because of what Mom herself had gone through, she had always strictly forbidden me from dating when I was young. She constantly told me that men were all terrible. I had always been obedient. I never voluntarily spoke to any boys in my class. But Liam Wilson became the exception. I had a crush on him. I loved him. And Mom had discovered it. She wasn't doing well emotionally during that period. She became extremely agitated and tore my diary into pieces. Her voice shook as she demanded. So every time you went out and told me you were studying at the library, you were with this boy? My throat tightened. I said quietly, yes, because he's really good at math and science. When there are things I don't understand, I can ask him. Mom, Before I could finish, Mom slapped me across the face. Were you two studying together? Or were you flirting and dating? My mother had always looked beautiful and fragile. I never knew she could hit that hard. The slap made my head spin. For several seconds, I couldn't even speak. Did he hold your hand? Did he kiss you? Mom grabbed my hand, her voice becoming increasingly frantic. Or has he already done something worse to you? My whole body trembled with fear. No, we really were only studying. No matter how much I explained, she refused to believe me. The next day, she called the school and told them I was sick. She kept me home. She also confiscated my phone. She was afraid I would contact Liam Wilson. Liam was the class president. That afternoon, after school ended, our teacher apparently asked him to visit the classmate who had called in sick on behalf of everyone. He had barely knocked on our door when he came face to face with Mom's icy expression. He smiled politely. Hello, ma'am. I'm one of Harper Davis's classmates. Our teacher said she was sick and absent today, so I came on behalf of the class to see how she's doing. He was carrying a fruit basket and flowers. Mom didn't let him inside. Instead, she said coldly, our Harper doesn't need anything from you. Please stay away from her from now on. She didn't even give Liam a chance to respond. Afterward, Mom told me that she and my father had also been classmates when they were young. My father had used studying together as an excuse to get close to her. Then they held hands, hugged, kissed, slept together. While they were dating, he had been gentle, thoughtful, and considerate. He created surprises constantly to make my mother happy. So after they graduated from college, Mom decided to marry him. After they married, my father began to change. He stopped Mom from working. He claimed it was because he loved her, but he demanded that she give up her career and become a full-time housewife whose entire life revolved around him. He restricted who she could be friends with. Again, he claimed it was because he loved her too much and didn't want anyone else taking away even a fraction of her attention. Gradually, Mom could only wear clothes he liked. Every day, she became like a marionette programmed to wait for him to come home. When my mother became pregnant, he even tried to take her to the hospital to have an abortion. He said he didn't want anyone interfering in the life he shared with Mom. But my mother was too lonely. She wanted a child to keep her company. So she fought with him over it for a very long time. Eventually, he agreed to let her keep me. After Mom gave birth to me, he complained that I was noisy. He hated that I constantly occupied Mom's attention. Countless times, he tried to kill me. When Mom asked for a divorce, he told her they would never divorce unless he died. If she ever mentioned divorce again, he would kill me first. And if Mom killed herself, that was fine too. He said he would die with her, and go find her afterward. Mom finally realized that he was an irrational madman. So she decided to take me and escape from him. Baby, please don't hate Mommy. Mom hugged me and cried. Mommy didn't mean to hit you. I'm just so scared you'll get hurt. I looked into the boy you like. His family is very wealthy. We can't afford to provoke people like that. Don't see him anymore, okay? I didn't know what else to do. So I said, okay. I knew Mom loved me too much. She only wanted to protect me. I shouldn't selfishly make her sad and worried just because of my feelings. Besides, my feelings for Liam Wilson had always been one-sided. He probably just noticed that nobody talked to me and decided to talk to me more. Maybe he felt sorry for me because I was so withdrawn, because I stammered when I spoke, because I was always alone. His sympathy got the better of him. So he studied with me. And in return, he received inexplicable hostility from my mother. He came to check on me and got turned away at the door. No matter how I looked at it, I owed him an apology. When Mom finally returned my phone, I sent Liam a message under her supervision. I'm sorry. And thank you for coming to see me. Mom applied to the school to let me study from home. After graduation, she moved away with me. Later, while I was in college, my biological father died. He left his entire estate to Mom and me. After his funeral, Mom locked herself in her room for 3 entire days. When she came out, she voluntarily went to see a therapist. Following her therapist's advice, she began traveling. She stopped focusing every bit of her attention on me. After I graduated from college, she started encouraging me to try dating. She believed she had been too extreme before, and that was why I had stayed single for so long. She was afraid I would become lonely. She even encouraged me to keep a clean, handsome young man. Baby, Mommy was probably too paranoid before. I met one terrible man and condemned every man in the world because of him. Mommy has figured out now. If you like someone, be with them. Just protect yourself. Don't refuse to date because of me. Because of Mommy, you barely had any friends growing up. Mommy never even stopped to ask whether you were lonely or whether you were happy. I hated your father, but somehow I ended up living like him. How pathetic. I was silent for a long time before answering softly. Mom, I'm actually pretty happy now. I don't feel particularly lonely. And I have really good friends now. We go out to eat together all the time, and we watch movies together. Maybe romantic love wasn't something everyone absolutely needed in life. That was what I believed at the time. Who could have guessed that I would meet Liam Wilson again? The second I saw him, I realized I still couldn't stop my heart from beating faster for him. I wanted to keep him beside me. He had nowhere to go. He had even come to me voluntarily and asked me to take him in. Part of me was devastated that the person I had secretly loved for so long had fallen into such a miserable situation. Yet another part of me couldn't suppress the wild happiness growing inside my chest. At last, he had fallen into the palm of my hand. I thought I must be a dark, terrible woman inside. Every day I spent with him, I wanted to confess my feelings. But I was afraid he would hate me. So I could only pretend to be a generous former classmate. I generously let him live in my house. I generously gave him my money. Several times, when I transferred money to him, he smiled bitterly and joked that it felt like I was keeping him. Every single time, I almost lost control of myself. Almost decided to make his joke a reality. I really had inherited my father's rotten genes. If I indulged myself without restraint, maybe I would become another lunatic who drove the person I loved insane. So that I wouldn't become the next version of my father. I restrained myself every single time. Kiki and I kept drinking while we talked. She was already completely drunk. At some point, I started seeing multiple copies of her floating in front of me. Every single one had an astonished expression. She cupped my face. Oh, my poor baby. You're already this much of a coward. What exactly gave you enough confidence to think you could ever become someone like your father? And honestly, if you actually took that first step, Liam would probably be so happy he'd lose his mind. He's practically waiting for you to ravage him. What the hell? I slapped my cheeks. You seriously don't think I'm scary? What's scary about you? All I see is one poor little thing who's been hurt since she was a child. Me. I wrapped my arms around Kiki. You're so nice. I think I'm drunk. I tugged at Kiki's clothes. Otherwise, Why was I suddenly seeing an angry Liam Wilson approaching us? Kiki said helplessly, "Baby, you are drunk." Oh, that explained it. I was hallucinating. Liam Wilson never got angry. But then why was he getting closer and closer? And why did he look more and more real? Liam Wilson walked straight up to Kiki and me. Then he crouched down in front of me and asked, "She's the man you had a date with?" I shook my head and answered him very seriously, "I don't have a date with a man." Liam, "Then who are you hugging?" Kiki. The corner of her mouth twitched. "Can't you tell I'm a woman?" Faced with the rather intimidating look in Liam Wilson's eyes, Kiki immediately confessed everything. "I just wanted to help Harper test whether you liked her too. That's why I told Harper to lie and say another guy'd ask her out tonight. In reality, she's been with me the entire evening. There is no other man." Liam nodded. Then his expression softened into a gentle smile. "Thank you for helping her. But you don't need to test me anymore. I do like her. A lot." Kiki kept slapping my back excitedly. "Did you hear that, baby? Your crush likes you too." Liam Wilson pulled me out of Kiki's arms and into his own. I no longer remembered how I got home afterward. But the moment I arrived home, all the emotions I had suppressed lately suddenly exploded. While Liam was getting water to wipe my face, I grabbed his collar and forcefully kissed him. Then I asked, "Liam, do you want to let your big sister keep you? From now on, everything your big sister earns will be yours to spend." Liam Wilson froze. The tips of his ears turned red. The veins along his forearms stood out. If I had possessed even a shred of rationality, I probably would have thought he was angry. Unfortunately, alcohol had made me unbelievably arrogant. I grabbed his cheeks with both hands. "What? You don't want to?" Liam didn't answer, so I kissed him again. Then I let out an evil laugh and threatened him viciously. "If you don't agree, I'll kick you out tomorrow and make you sleep on the street." Liam Wilson laughed, maybe from anger. But I thought his smile looked beautiful. I was beyond saving. "So after you start keeping me, what are you planning to do with me?" What was I planning to do with him? Humph. Obviously, you'll let me kiss you, hug you, and touch your chest. And you'll cook delicious food every day and obediently wait for me to come home. Liam Wilson asked good-naturedly. And then? I continued. "You'll be my good little puppy. Big sister will spoil you properly from now on." "I've never stopped you from doing any of those things to me," Liam said quietly. "I've been trying so hard to seduce you every single day, and you never reacted at all. I thought you were made of wood." Liam Wilson took my hand and placed it against his chest. "I trained specifically for this. It's the kind of lean muscle you like. How does it feel?" Me? How did he know I liked lean muscle? It felt pretty good. Liam Wilson seemed to turn a stone. He stood there frozen. As for me, the second I finished saying that, I collapsed and fell asleep. I spent the entire night having bizarre, chaotic dreams. When I woke up, my head hurt like hell. Little fragments of nonsense floated through my mind frame by frame. I laughed speechlessly. That bastard Kiki must have given me fake alcohol. It had completely messed up my brain. No wonder my dreams had felt so realistic. Ridiculous. I, Harper Davis, had been reserved and restrained my entire life. How could I possibly do something like harassing a decent, innocent man? Even if I really had lost my mind and done something like that, there was no way Liam Wilson would have gone along with me. Back in school, Liam had been the gentle campus heartthrob. Later, he became an elegant, untouchable CEO. After going bankrupt, he became the poor little man living under someone else's roof. He. Obviously, it had all been a dream. After successfully reassuring myself, I turned my head. Liam Wilson was sleeping beside my bed with his head resting against the mattress. His long lashes looked like two beautiful little fans. His nose was tall and straight. His lips were sexy. And on the exposed skin of his neck, there were red marks that very clearly looked like someone had thoroughly abused him. I pinched my thigh. Ow. It wasn't a dream. The sky was falling. I attempted to flee the scene of the crime. My foot had barely touched the floor when Liam Wilson woke up. He rubbed his temple and looked at me. Then he smiled very gently. "Big sister, were you satisfied with your little puppy's performance last night? You're not going to wake up and refuse to take responsibility, are you?" I suspected he was mocking me. He hadn't talked like that before. I nervously twisted the hem of my clothes. "I drank too much last night. Don't take anything I said seriously." Oh. Liam lowered his gaze. So you're going to kick me out and make me sleep on the street? I never said I wasn't willing to let you keep me. How can you treat me like this? And last night, you did everything to me. You saw everything you were supposed to see, and everything you weren't supposed to see. You touched everything you were supposed to touch, and everything you weren't supposed to touch. My innocence is completely gone. And now you're cruel enough to abandon me? Me? What else could I possibly say? And just like that, I officially became Liam Wilson's sugar mommy. 1 month later, the pristine, moonlight white filter I had always placed over gentle, perfect Liam Wilson had shattered completely. I never ever imagined Liam Wilson would actually be like this. I complained to Kiki while eating. I always thought he was like the moon in the sky, pure and flawless. Kiki nodded. So what's he actually like? In reality, he's not remotely pure. His brain is full of dirty thoughts, and he's absolutely ferocious in bed to the point that you can barely handle him. Me. Cough. 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 I nearly died choking on a chili pepper. I gulped down a mouthful of soy milk and shot Kiki a slightly reproachful look. Then I hesitated. Well, I wouldn't exactly put it that way. He's just a little clingy. A little insecure. And he likes saying embarrassingly sweet things. He just wanted kisses and cuddles at every possible moment. And although he was indeed a little intense in bed, I enjoyed that quite a lot too. Every second I spent with him made me feel incredibly happy. I enjoyed all of it. Kiki. Well, that proves you two really were made for each other. But as long as you're happy, that's what matters. Baby, be brave. Kiki gently squeezed my shoulder. Be brave enough to love someone. And be brave enough to let yourself be loved. You deserve every wonderful thing this world has to offer. My nose tingled. Steam from a hot pot made my eyes watery. Kiki, I love you too. Every moment I spend with you makes me happy too. Thank you. Thank you for choosing to come close to someone as awkward and insecure as me. For entering my lonely life like a warm ray of sunlight. During the 2nd month of officially dating Liam Wilson, Mom returned from traveling overseas. I brought Liam to meet her. Mom was very happy. She didn't say much. She simply told him, I know you're a good kid. Mom stayed with me for 3 days before leaving for a famous tourist destination somewhere else in the country. She told me the sky that was incredibly blue and promised she would take lots of pictures for me. Eventually, Liam Wilson confessed the truth. His company had never actually gone bankrupt. At the time, he had merely gotten into a small argument with his family. Coincidentally, his company had also run into a minor problem. His father told him that if he insisted on being stubborn, then he would simply let Liam's company go bankrupt. The implication was that Liam would eventually have no choice but to go home and wag his tail in front of his parents, begging them for help. Somehow, rumors began circulating within their social circle that Liam had gone bankrupt and been abandoned by his family. As for that night, he really had only gone to the rooftop to get some fresh air. And somehow, that turned into a rumor that he had been planning to jump. I looked at him in confusion. What did you even do to make your parents angry? Liam Wilson guiltily rubbed his nose. Well, I hadn't dated anyone for a long time, and they were afraid I'd end up alone forever. So they kindly introduced me to the daughter of one of their friends. But she and I couldn't stand each other. So my parents got mad. That was it. The reason was actually that ordinary. During our 3rd month of dating, Liam Wilson's mother showed up. She secretly followed me around for 3 days. Eventually, I couldn't keep pretending I hadn't noticed. So I confronted her. Inside my head, I had already imagined an entire dramatic scene where she pulled out a multi-million-dollar check and ordered me to leave Liam. So I decided to strike first. Ma'am, no matter how much money you offer me, I will never leave Liam. He loves me, and I love him. Even if your family throws him out because of me, I can afford to support him. Unfortunately, things did not proceed according to the script inside my head. Instead, Liam Wilson's mother grabbed my hands affectionately. Silly girl, what are you talking about? That brat of mine managed to find himself such an outstanding and beautiful girlfriend. His father and I couldn't possibly be happier. Why would we ever try to break you two apart? I only came because I wanted to take a look at you. There's no other reason. She proceeded to drag me through luxury boutiques for an entire afternoon. If I looked at anything for more than a second, she immediately told the sales associate to wrap it up. Extremely extravagant. So far, at least, she genuinely didn't seem dissatisfied with me. On the 1st anniversary of our relationship, Liam Wilson proposed to me. And we're still very happy. The end. Thanks for stopping by. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.